Welcome back to the Vintage Firearm series. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a gun that has always been very special to me. And I'm talking about this gun, but I'm also talking about the series. It's the 1890 22. This particular one is in WRF. It was a 22 Magnum of the day, if you would prefer. Something right along those lines anyways. It is a takedown model. Although I don't believe in taking down guns on a regular basis. I almost never do. Keeps them tighter. Okay, here, what's cool about this particular gun, I believe if I remember right, the serial number starts off with 528, 6 digits. It's an octagon barrel, so it would be the bull barrel of the day. They're super dependable. One of the things that you can run across when you are collecting these guns or just buy one off in a used store somewhere is this piece does not return and it gets stuck down. There's a little spring, it's a flat spring inside, and you take it apart, it's not difficult. And I'm not going to go into it here, but probably in a future video for someone who would want to know about it. If you're slightly mechanically inclined, it's something you do. It's just a little flat spring and it loses its tension after all of these years. Yeah, 110 years, we're not as spry as we used to be. So you bend that a little bit, just a tiny bit, and you put it back in and it'll work fine. So it's probably the simplest thing you can do. How did I end up with this gun? This is the very first 1890 I had. And I was walking through a gun show and I looked at it and right away I loved it. I had not seen one exactly like it before, and it had this wear to it, what I call honest wear. And it had been very well kept for, but it was super well used as well. It goes on both categories. So it's very interesting overall. And so you kind of have to look at a gun and see what you want out of it. And there's a certain kind of personality that you get on a gun that was very well made and used quite a bit. This gun has much more use left in it than has been taken from it. So, and the bull barrel makes it tough as can be. I'm really, really fond of it. And I don't know how many of these I had and have, and it's just too many because they came in so many variants, and every single one is different than another one. So that's why I started off with the first 3 digits of the serial number. Now, it's a tube feeder, of course. And after all of these years, it still works good. It still hangs up, so you can load it easily without it falling back down. It's just a super well made. And the octagon barrel really is cool. This was a quality gun of its day. That's why the WRF. Now, that wasn't considered a cheap round, and I believe they were always an octagon. So that's a pretty nice thing too. So you look at them. They also made them in short. Early on, around I have a 1902 made in long, not to be confused with long rifle, but long. And then, of course, later on, they made long rifle. And starting in about 1906, they came out with a slightly different variant. It was to be more economical, and it also included that it would take all 3. But in the early days, say for the first 16 years, they were dedicated to a single size. And I don't have any problem with that at all. I mean, if you only have one gun, then maybe you should buy a gun that does all three. Otherwise, give me a gun that does just one, but does it really well. Now, I do want to point out the quality. Now, Winchester made a lot of guns in those days, but there were similarities between this 22 and top-of-the-line guns. Now, one of their top-of-the-line guns, of course, was the Model 94. Do you see anything similar? I do. Everything, even the screw holes are in the same places. Amazing. So it was a quality-built gun that was for a smaller type of game shooting. I mean, you weren't going to go out and get a deer with this. And so, and nobody expected to. They were for target shooting. They were for, rodent population, maybe a rabbit, something like that. So the other thing about it is that up front, notice again on this quality thing here, notice that front sight is adjustable. Of course, that would be one of the things that they would give up on, most manufacturers. And this back sight is also adjustable for elevation. Very, very nice. I wish all 22s were still built that way. Here we have a 22 designed in 1890, and the ones we build today, they'll never last this long. Plastic stocks. Very inexpensive construction all the way through. Let's go outside and take a few shots with this old timer. See what we can do with it. I haven't shot it in a while because of that WRF. Oh, when I ran across it at the gun show, the jump from one thing to another. When I ran across it at the gun show, I looked at the guy and I said, I really like it. The price wasn't too bad. And I said, but I'm tired of buying guns that I can't get ammo for. Because at the time, it was really hard to get WRF. And he says, that's not a concern. This gun comes with 900 rounds. Oh my gosh. I said, okay, I'm in. So, yeah, and since then, of course, I just make sure that whenever I shoot it, I replace that. So I'm always going to have 900 rounds for this gun, and that'll be great. And I know that if I shot it for the rest of my life, I probably wouldn't use 900 rounds because I have so many other guns that I also enjoy shooting. But the certain color and the look of this, it's just absolutely what I call honest wear. Let's go outside now. For real this time. Okay, so here we are. We got a fresh target. We're going to run that down in a moment. First of all, we're going to show you the ammo that we're going to be using today. It's a little bit different, but 22 WRF. And it's kind of expensive. For 50 cartridges, it'll cost you about $18, $20, depending where you buy it. Get to know your small retailer. That's what I would recommend in such a cases. Sometimes they can help you out. You go to the big chain, they don't know you. They'll never know you. They don't care to know you. And the guy you go and talk to on that day when you're there isn't there next time anyways. So let's go ahead and before we load it up, we'll run down, put out this sign out to about 50 feet, and we'll be right back. Okay, so let's get out about 15. Yeah, knowing your small gun store is really kind of nice. I built a relationship with, I'm lucky enough to say, more than one. And it comes in handy a lot of times. Sometimes you can go in and buy bulk ammo. Say, hey, you know, I'm getting ready to buy some 30-30 because I got a lot of guns that take 30-30. You know, I'm going to buy like 500 rounds. And I hope to get a good deal on it. If not, I can always go online. You know, okay, that looks like it. So it's not going to hold as much. Okay, so it seemed to hold 11. Put these back. Oh, before I put them back all the way, I'll leave one out. We'll show you the difference between a 22 long, which was really big at the day. You know, a lot of these guns were shorts. And here we go. Some were longs. This is a long rifle. This is a WRF. So you can see quite a bit of difference. Also in diameter. I think it's in diameter. I always thought it was. These are hollow points. You can get hollow points now. Something they probably didn't have in the day. So in any case, we'll put that one back as well. But the length of them, you can tell, is really massive. Okay. Let's go ahead, put on our ears, because it's going to be loud enough where I would want ear protection. We're going to chamber the first shot. That's it. Okay. Now, you can tell the ear is kind of just by the way this comes down on the side. Okay. If it was a very early one, it would come straight across over there, like just like that. I'll show you examples of that in later videos. Okay, let's see what we can do. It's been a while since I've shot this, to be honest, but that's true with too many of my guns. One thing nice, I should save these because I'm not into reloading anything like that yet, but I'm getting there. Because the more expensive ammo really gives you motivation. Looks like it's printing a bit high. I think I'm going to be more gentle when I chamber it. Every one of them is flipped. I'm good. Okay, let's see if next time I can do better on that. Not have it fall on the ground. Some of those are doing better now. So that means, hey, that went right where it was supposed to go. See that? Isn't that cool? I'm getting better at it. That went into the trash can, but I don't think I want it there. The fresh one. The nice thing about this is that when you're load it up, you can see that there's one there still. You know how you're shooting a semi or something and you never know when it's out? You don't get fooled with this. Okay, see that? We can tell there's nothing left in. So we're all done. We'll set this back up here, open so everyone knows it's safe. We'll run down, we'll bring the target back. I can see from here that it's printing a little high, but not bad. Okay, so I've still not gone out and got my staples. So I'm still using these guys. Which is to say, it's not so good. But it's on the list. Okay, so let's talk about it's like a powder burn. That's not a hole. That's our hole right there. That's some kind of a powder burn or something. I have no idea. I've never seen that. Okay, on this distance. Okay, so what we have 1, 2, 3 within the bullseye, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it held 11, so there's our whole 11 right there. We've accounted for everything. And the grouping is within the circle of the bullseye. So all we'd have to do would be to bring it over to the left a little bit and down a little bit, and we could put, without any practice, just walking up and shooting this gun and not familiar with it, because it's been a long time, I could put everything in the bullseye at 50 feet. Now, if you can do that the first time you pick up a gun, I'd say that's a good relationship, okay? A lot of times I have to work with guns, especially guns built in the last 50 years, and it might take me an hour or longer to get to this point. But when you're buying a quality gun, and usually that's not anything made in the last 50 years, probably hardly anything made in the last 100. This would be about the end of it. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't buy a 52 and do that, and we'll have plenty of 52s coming up. And not only will we have 52s come up, we're going to have a series of 52s coming up, and with 1930 vintage scopes. So we're going to have a 1929 model 52, and we're going to have an early 1930 scope on it. Is to die for. I acquired this from one of my last trips. I met this wonderful gentleman who was 85 years old, and he was starting to thin down on his stuff. We're all going to be there. So in any case, I think that's really, really good. This is probably that is the best grouping, just picking up a gun and firing it so far in this series, okay? And it's had plenty of use, but like I told you at the beginning of the video, they do not wear out quickly. There's nowhere near worn out. Let's put this down for next time. And let's go back inside because there's a few things I really would like to talk to you about. Okay? Let's do it. Okay, so I got up early this morning to do this video so I'd have time for it. Kind of cool out there this morning. Well, I guess we're starting to get ready to almost be in the fall weather. I'm going to clean this gun, and this time I am going to break it down a little bit. Maybe I can show you a couple of things that I admire. I've never seen anybody who has fired one of these guns in my presence who didn't really enjoy it. So it's a lot of fun. It really is. Now, I wanted to point something out to you. There's a little tiny spring. I don't want to get, this is important. There's a little tiny spring. It's right here. See that screw right there? There's a little tiny spring. Now, if this ever fails to come back to the top, because sometimes they get stuck down like that, all you have to do is take that screw out, take this flat spring out, and put a little more bend in it, and that will fix it 100% of the time, provided, of course, that the gun is properly oiled. And by properly oiled, you're going to get tired of this. That doesn't mean soaking. Okay, so now we're going to do what every responsible gun owner does. Now, I said I don't like to break them down, and that's true. But there is a way of cleaning this without breaking it down, but we won't do it this time because we have it down, because I wanted to show you that. I like to get it from this side, but in this particular model, it can be a little difficult. So, but we'll try. Remember now, this is a great gun, and you're just a caretaker, okay? That's all we are. We're just the caretakers. No more, no less. We get to enjoy them, you know, why we have them, why we have possession of them. But we have to also save them for the next generation and hope they do the same. And they're remarkable things that I wanted to come in from the bottom, but I don't know if I can do that. Here we go. We got it from the top. And so, you know, you have to be responsible. I mean, if you could go out and get one of these tomorrow, then I would say, well, do what you want to do. But I've said this before on this series, you can't get them. They're never going to make another one like this. Never. It's just not going to be. That's not what we do today. There's a bit of sadness in it if you want to think of it that way, but they're, you know, we can do other things today. So, let's go ahead and pull this through. Okay. Wipe off this because that's what a shirt's for. Don't tell my wife I get oil on the gun on the shirts on purpose. She thinks it's by accident. Let's see what we got. You can see it first. Okay. Now I'll take a look. If you could see what I could see, I don't know if you can see the detail of the rifle. I want you to look at this. This is a well-used gun. And I'm going to try, because I think the exposure most of the time is kind of burned out. See if I can get that rifling. I don't know. I have to be close to be able to see if it's there. And then I don't want to get it all the way in because it can be too bright, you know. And if it's too bright, you can't see the rifling. This has got to be one of the best rifling 22s that I have. Why is it that it's also such a great shot? You know, they have all this new micro and all that stuff rifling. I want to try to dim it out. I don't know. You might have seen it and you might not have, but I'm going to take another look at it just because I enjoyed it so much. Well, this one here you can't see as good. See, the thing is, it's the color of light. This one here is not good for this one, but this here is better, and the battery is just dim enough that you can, that's one of the things that one of these you have to, it has to be the right intensity, and it has to be so the battery, what I'm trying to say is the battery needs to be just gone enough, and then you have to get this in just the right spot. But if you get it in just the right spot, you can see that this thing has great rifling. So let's put it back together. I showed you how to fix that problem, which is a really normal problem on this. I've had several of them. Now I'm going to show you how to avoid that problem, because I told you it's a normal problem, but now I'm going to show you how never to have it, ever. Well, provided that you've owned the gun for a period of time, and that if you just picked it up, I'm not going to say you start treating it right, you're not going to have the problem. This thing is not quite lined up, so we're going to have to be patient. There we go, finally got it. Just had to know what it needed you to know. So this is, again, this is the piece. Now, if I was trying to see if I could make it drop, because it will drop, but not in my presence. Okay, so if that piece, by the way, this is the way you bypass in it, so you can cycle the first round, is you push this little hammer down there. Okay, and then this piece will be down if it's unhappy, okay? So it won't be all the way up to the top like this. It'll be in the down position, kind of like that, okay? So where it was to pick up the shell from the feeding tube. So I hope that you found this interesting. I have quite a few of these. I'll probably identify them with the first three numbers or something like that. Like I said, this one's from 2000. This is from 1914. I have another one that I know is at least from 1902, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's just like, whoa, you look at it and the stocks are all light colored and beautiful and a little less than use condition. But even that one, when I got it, and I got it off a guy who was really quite a collector and a gun guy going way back, and it had the same problem after a little bit. Oh, I was going to show you how to avoid that. And this is true with any gun you have. You put your hammer on the trigger or whatever device is going to stop it from reacting, and then you pull the trigger and you let it down gently. Okay? When you do that, that takes the tension off that spring. Okay? And so that's what you need to know. Until tomorrow, thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.